Hey there, and welcome back to Utility Sports. If you do enjoy MLB content, this is the place to subscribe. And we're going to get right into the video. Now, Starling Marte and the Miami Marlins have not had any extension talks. This is rather surprising considering he's been a phenomenal fit, instrumental leader for this young Miami Marlin ball club. Now, for the Marlins, there's a lot to kind of unpack here. I'm very curious to know why they opted not to start the talks or engage in the talks. I think that they really have to bring him back in order to remain competitive in the next couple of seasons. But at the same time, I do understand possibly trading him at this deadline. Now, the Miami Marlins have really struggled as of late. They've only had three starters that have been able to go for the most part. And they finally got back Eliseo Hernandez, but he ended up getting hurt while base running on his way to home. So there's some issues there with the Miami Marlins pitching staff. Sixto Sanchez, once again, has been shut down. We are not sure what's going to happen with him. So for this season, it is lost, unfortunately. They've had some really bright spots as well. Jazz Chisholm has really come on. Trevor Rogers has really been phenomenal. He could win Rookie of the Year with how well he's pitched. It will also likely be the Miami Marlins All-Star. So this team is in a pretty good place overall in terms of their future, but you have to consider that they do not have any hitting at all. I mean, Jazz Chisholm is the bright spot in that, but they've had some issues and inconsistencies with their hitters. Brian Anderson also got hurt. That really doesn't help. Who was slumping, picked it back up, and then now once again is hurt. So now for the Miami Marlins, they have to decide, are they going to ultimately acquire a prospect, a hitting prospect that will help them in the future, or are they going to stay more short-term focused with Starling Marte? Starling Marte has said that he wants to be in Miami for years to come. He really enjoys it, but I don't know if that's the way that the Marlins are looking at this, because ultimately they have to make a huge decision if they want to go in the future or in the short term. Let's kind of look at Starling Marte's stats this season. He's only got 103 at-bats. He has been hurt this season, but in those at-bats, he's been extremely effective. 5 homers. He's got 12 RBIs. There's just so much to unpack with this. He's hitting 350, OBP of 447, and an OPS of 1,030. So there's so much to like about what he's able to provide offensively for the Miami Marlins, but at the same time, they have to really consider what is his future. He's 32 years old as it currently stands right now. I think he should be sent to a team that is competing ultimately for a World Series or at least a playoff contender. I'm going to go over 2 teams that I think really make sense for Starling Marte. I think one of them being the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees definitely have some issues in the outfield. Clint Frazier has been rather inconsistent. Brett Gardner's not a guy that you're going to want to run out every single day on a playoff team. He's 38 years old. He's definitely seen better days. Also, Aaron Hicks is done for the season, very likely, according to some medical experts. I don't think he'll be back next year, or this year, excuse me. So they do need another outfield piece. They have a phenomenal lineup as it currently stands, a lot of really good hitters, but I think Starling Marte can definitely be that guy that gets on base consistently for them. He can hit for average, he can walk. There's a lot of different things that you got to like about Starling Marte and what you've seen from him so far this season. So moving forward, I think the New York Yankees should definitely target a guy like Starling Marte. He could be the number 2 hitter in your lineup, a guy that can get on base, a guy that has been able to steal some bags earlier in his career. I mean, if we go all the way back to 2016, he stole 47 bases. He's not that same guy anymore, but I think that he can be in that 30 base stolen base range. So I love that for the Yankees. Another team I could see potentially trading for Starling Marte is the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay does need some, offensive help. This is not necessarily about producing defensively, because Starling Marte is a pretty good starting center fielder in terms of defense, but they do need some more juice in that lineup. They need some guys that won't strike out as much as they have been striking out this season. They are amongst the league leaders in terms of strikeouts for hitters. But for Miami, I really like, for Tampa, I think it makes a lot of sense to bring him in. He can be your 3 hitter. He is a true 3 hitter for a team like Tampa Bay, who's looking to make a deep postseason run. They have a lot of prospects that they can afford to trade. Obviously, they have the best farm system in baseball as it currently stands. And if you're this close to potentially competing for a World Series, like I think they can, Obviously, we saw it last year. They were able to compete with the Dodgers in that World Series, but for them, they need another hitter. They definitely need to improve that lineup. I think Starling Marte does wonders for this team if they are able to acquire him. Like I said, they have a deep, deep prospect pool to pick from. Miami would really, really be interested in engaging in that. So I think those are two teams that make a lot of sense. Another side note, I think the Chicago Cubs, who are currently leading the NL Central, could be a team that could look at him potentially, another offensive player for them. I think that's another sleeper team that we could consider for Starling Marte. So it's going to be, there's a lot to unpack with this. I think that they do consider moving him. And I think ultimately they will move him, just considering these contract talks haven't gone on. It's really kind of interesting to me, but who knows? We'll see what direction the Miami Marlins move in. There's a lot to like about this team so far, but they have to make a big, big decision with Starling Marte, and the timeline of this team is more suited for them to potentially trade him. So thanks guys for tuning in. Please subscribe if you are new. Also leave a like if you did enjoy this video. We will see you guys in the next one.